Do you want to know how to handle a situation that seems like it just keeps going on and on? Stay tuned to find out more. If you're watching this video, you see me. My name is Laura. My husband is behind the camera. If you're listening to the podcast, you'll hear both of us no matter what. You just won't see us. Honey?
Podcast.
Podcast.
So does that mean that we have to update our tech guide that there's a new video? Or how does that work?
Yes.
Ah.
I'll send him a message.
Okay, awesome. Our tech team is doing
Podcast!
Yeah.
Yay!
Go ahead.
Okay, so will you please, you were sharing an experience story with me earlier, which sparked this whole video. Will you please share that story with us?
Oh yes, I was sharing with you that this one individual that's part of our 190 Vision community has gotten to the point where this individual can handle anything that is causing discomfort, right? Using the tools that this individual has been given. So normally I'll receive a message, oh, I have this discomfort here or here. But, there's no, don't worry, but it's more like, I'm taking care of it. I just want you to know that I'm experiencing this. And of course, within a short time, I'll get a message, I'm fine, everything's fine.
And that's because she's been given certain tools over time, and she uses those tools.
Yes, she implements the tools.
She implements the tools to be able to take care of what's happening with her.
That's correct. Now, and if I have to go and do any work, on her behalf, within about half an hour or so, I'll get a message. Oh, I'm fine now. And that's how quickly she feels the effects of the work that's being done. I point that out because from what we've seen, the more you implement the tools, then of course the higher your frequency becomes and you're more sensitive to the work that's been facilitated on your behalf. The part though that caught my attention was the thinking part, the perspective that she has. So the past month or so, she's been consistently affected by discomfort like coughing and cold and dull pressures, and I would check, everything would be fine, all of a sudden it's not, and that's been going on. And I even apologized
This
to her.
has been for about a month?
For about a month, right.
Okay.
And so I even apologized to her a few times as well, because she sent a message. I said, you know what, I've been so busy, I didn't even check on you at all. And how do you
What
think
did she say?
Well, how do you think she responded?
Well, I know how she responded, but I probably would have said, you bum, you don't care about me anymore? Why aren't you checking me? Don't I come first? No, I'm messing with you. I'm your wife. I can do that.
Well,
but
that's why I look on my face like, what?
I'm your wife. I could do that. But what did she say? Because I know that was not her response.
She said, that's okay. I know you're busy. You have other people to help. And I know that you're guided to do your work. And if mine is pressing, I know you'll be guided to do work on me. So it's no big deal. And I'm always surprised when she responds that way. Because someone else could easily say, oh wow, just like you're saying, you don't care. Why are you putting me, I'm in a lot of pain. Don't you understand that?
Exactly.
For her, it's like, it's okay. I feel very certain that with the guides that you have and the Ascended Masters, they know best, and if there's something I need, they will say, take care of her now. That's my interpretation of how she put it, right? She didn't put it that way. So anyway, that's the first thing. And so we were talking, and I said, well, it's much improved now. You know, I had to use a specific technique, which I don't normally use often. We use with certain individuals if if we don't see too much progress. So it's a whole lot better. But then there was a message that she sent, and I thought, that's interesting. I thought she was doing a whole lot better. So I checked on her really early in the morning, and she said, well, I'm doing a whole lot better. It's just this one-time thing that happened. And it's because, I believe it's because this dream that I had. Right? And which she had sent the details of the dream in the message. But it was the middle of the night. I'm not going to read the details of the dream in the middle of the night. I just saw that she had the coughing, so I did some work right there. I said, oh, yeah, that's right. That would make sense. I said, I must commend you, though. So throughout this whole thing, it's been about a month, and you have never, ever made comments like, oh, why is God doing this to me? Why is God punishing me? How could God let this continue? Or something like, I thought that Archangel Michael protected me, or whomever she called. I know it's Archangel Michael that she calls him, right? Because she's Catholic. But not once has she said, well, why did Archangel Michael allow this to happen? Why are the Ascended Masters allowing this to happen? Why are they allowing this to last so long? And that's what I told her. And she laughed. She said, well, why would I do that? I said, well, why wouldn't you? This stuff has been going on for a long time. You don't normally have these experiences. And she said, well, I wouldn't do that because I know that when I go through something, it's because I'm balancing karma. It has nothing to do with God or the Ascended Masters or Archangel Michael. It has to do with me. I said, oh? She said, yes. She said, I've been thinking about this, and I know I mentioned to you as well, is what she told me. I've been thinking, I wonder what I did in the past, or even in this life, why I'm dealing with this now, why I'm balancing this karma right now, why it's lasting this long. And I said, wow, what a way to look at what you're dealing with. She doesn't blame any spiritual being, especially God, because she understands that this is something that she created somewhere, sometime, and it's just come due. So she's handling it right now, and she just wants to make sure that it's over with, because it's been a long time. She's like, hey, I'm impatient. I want to get this over with. But she also understands that it's karma. So that's the story that I told you.
I love that story, and I like her perspective on that. And that's the perspective that I share with her as well, because when things happen to me now, I might have the thought of, well, why is this coming up now? What did I do now? And it might come out, the answer might come up during the day, or in the past, when I would have those thoughts, I would just ask before going to sleep, I'd just say, thank you, my higher self, or my spirit guides, whoever it was, and just say, thank you for showing me in my dreams what I did as to why I'm experiencing this discomfort. Let's say it was back pain. And then I'd pay attention to my dreams, and of course I would tell my dreams to my husband and get the interpretation, and I'd be like, oh, so that's why I'm going through this right now. So for me, it's been a progression to get to this perspective, like what she has, where it's, I'm going through it because of something I've done. So I'm just going to go through, let the experience happen, and look for the lesson in why it's taking place.
I like the way you put that, like look for the lesson, right? Because some people actually spend all their time, or most of the time, trying to figure out why this is happening.
Right.
Right? When that's really a waste of time to do that, because it just causes unnecessary stress. Because if it's not time, if you're not ready for the information that shows you why you're going through this experience that you're going through now, it won't be shown to you, because you're being protected from that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So as much as, say, Archangel Michael may want to show you, but then when they show it to you, you're like, oh no, and then you get all panicked and stressed and makes things worse, or the information makes things worse. They're like, no. we're not going to give that to you. Even if you request it, we're not sending it. So just like when you said, well, could you show me in my dream or while I'm sleeping? If you weren't ready to accept that, if you weren't open-minded to that information, you would get 0.
Oh yes, I've had that happen.
I also want to stress that, right? Because
Right.
people might think, oh, well, that's all I do. Well, the next thing is the part that you left out was there's a technique to that. You don't
Yes.
just lay there and say, oh, show me.
No.
Right? That's something that you learn in the different trainings, how to do that. So you could try it by just asking, and it could work. If it doesn't work, know that there's more to it than that. Okay? But that's one way of finding out. But again, if you're not ready, if it's not something you'll accept, you're not open-minded to the answer, believe me, your higher self will not release it to you. Because
Exactly.
your higher self protects you. Your spirit guides protect you. And they want to make sure that you stay balanced all the time.
Let's see, again, the key though is as you're going through the situation or experience is to look for the lesson. What is it I'm supposed to get out of this?
Right? Instead of complaining about it or thinking that, oh, well, I'm not protected. How could they do this to me? How could they let this happen to me? Why is God punishing me? It's more like, okay, what am I supposed to learn from this? And if you take that approach, then if you notice, you're more curious about what's going on. But not as in, why is this happening to me? It's more like, what am I supposed to learn here? Big difference, isn't there?
Yes, a huge difference.
And so hopefully this will help. I hope that information we're given will help somebody that's experiencing something that they feel like, oh, this is just unbearable.
Yes.
And it might feel unbearable, but understand that your higher self, the Ascended Masters, and your whole spiritual team, and again, whether or not you believe that there's a spiritual team that's there working on your behalf, it's okay. It doesn't matter to them. They're not going to walk away and say, oh, he doesn't believe or she doesn't believe that we're here helping him or her, so let's walk away. They won't do that because they don't have those human emotions, right?
Right.
But they're there working on behalf of each one of us. And the more you show them that you're ready to take that step forward, the more you show them that you're open-minded, the more information they give you. If you're scared, then of course it limits how much information you'll get. Because they know that if they just divulge a little bit, you'll get scared and stressed. So they have to hold that information back. But once they see you're open-minded, man, they just download that thing. And you know that,
Yes.
right? You have a story to tell about that or anything?
Not really. I used to be very fearful of all things in the spiritual realm because I figured there was more of the non-beneficial side than there were of the beneficial side. And I didn't know that I had spirit guides and angels and all kinds of beings of light around me all the time. So I was always fearful that if I start to learn about something or read about something that I'd be inviting in some of those negative forces. But as I've learned about how the spiritual realm really works and how things take place, that fear has diminished for me. And as that's happened, I started to have more vivid dreams, which is where I get a lot of information from, is really through my dreams. And even during meditations, now I see more during a meditation because I'm more open to it. I'm not afraid anymore of what's going to happen or what's right beyond, what I can see. It's more so like, oh, let's go. I want to see what's there. Let's find out. It's more of an adventure and exciting for me.
Right, and you being, as we call a very strict Catholic,
Yes.
you definitely weren't open to the thought of Ascended Masters. Because I
No.
remember when I met you, we had many conversations about that. So here you are, you want to establish a closer connection with God, but then you're refusing these beings that work very closely with God. Interesting, right?
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that. Because I know for me, it was when I saw, for example, Saint Germain, like, come on. That's not even a real saint. The saints, there's no Saint Germain in the Catholic Church.
Right.
So I'm like, no, that's fake. Man, that was my approach to that. El Moria. I'm like, really? Will you guys just stop making up names? There's no such thing in the Catholic Church because
Yes.
this is how I was brought up in the Catholic faith.
Right? In the Catholic faith, it's just the saints that are approved by the Catholic Church.
That's
Anything
right.
else is, and when it came to like Buddhism and all those Buddhist gods and things, now it's like, what? They can't go to heaven. They're not Catholic. They're not Christian. They didn't accept Jesus, And then it was the Hindu faith. I'm like, whoa, all these different gods. Krishna, Shiva, what? They call him the destroyer? Oh, that definitely must be from down where, who comes from, because that could not be. So learning about all those and opening my mind to it, it helped me a lot.
But not only that, and then the claim, and I'll say the claim, coming from the skeptic side, right?
Mm-hmm.
That they're there to help you when normally it's the saints and the angels, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden there's these ascended masters, like, who are they? So it's a really tough concept to wrap your head around when you think about it.
It is.
Now imagine coming from, is that the Lutheran faith, I think, where
Or they don't
it's
believe in
just
any
you
of
and
that.
God,
Yep.
right? There's no in between.
That's right.
So imagine that, where it's just you and God. All of a sudden, you run into 190 Vision. We're like, oh, actually,
You've got all these helpers. You've got an entire army with you all the time. What?
They're like, that's it. Don't even call me. I unsubscribe. It's easy to do that because
It is.
it's really different.
Mm-hmm.
But again, whether or not you believe, just like I always say, whether or not you believe in gravity, and you go on top of a 10-story building, and then you declare to the whole universe, you go on YouTube, you do a live Facebook broadcast, and they say, I don't believe in gravity, you jump off the building. The people that are watching that broadcast on YouTube will see a big slap on the ground, because gravity will still take effect.
Unless if on your way down you say, okay, God, I believe, and then you get a miracle and someone saves you.
That's possible. Right? But there'll be a big splat somewhere, because gravity, whether or not you believe in gravity, gravity will take effect. It's the same thing here. You might call out to God. Feel free to do that. But when you call out to God, you're calling out to your entire spiritual army. And they will respond. They don't care if you say God, or if you say Archangel Michael, or if you say my spirit guide. They don't care, because it's the same army. It's the same group, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they will come to your help. And whatever you're dealing with, whatever it is you're dealing with, they're there working with you. You might not think so, because it seems so painful and scary and everything else.
Well, going back to the example you were giving, to me, now when something happens to me, I call to my team immediately. Like I'm sure the listeners can hear my voice is a little scratchy. I was like, well, I don't know why my voice is like this, but I know my team has got a solution for me to be able to communicate with my family and the friends and be able to do everything I have to do. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, the solutions were there. The answers just kept coming because I knew my team was there to help me.
Right.
So
just remember again, whatever you're dealing with, know that it's a lesson. It's meant for you to learn something from. Mm-hmm. It's not God punishing you. It's not your team forsaking you. It's not Archangel Michael saying, oh, I refuse to protect this individual now. It has nothing to do with that. It all has to do with, okay, what is it that happened in the past somewhere? Why this is coming up now for me to balance? Mm-hmm. And then you'll get the answer, and enjoy going through it. Because the more you enjoy it, the quicker it goes away. The more you fight it, the longer it lasts. And of course, the more stressed you get.
Yep.
Remember to subscribe and like this video. Join the Facebook group 190 Vision to connect with others on the same journey. Get help by visiting our website 190vision.com. Support the 190 Vision mission by clicking on the donate button, which is at the bottom of each page of our website.